it literally
life.
is like dating though. Like I didn't want to say that, but like we're like out here all trying to like, and then there's like some shady shit going on. Like sometimes people are like trying to find another partner when they have a partner already. Like it gets, gets feisty.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the 248th episode of the Athletes Podcast. Today, we feature Erin Routliffe. For the second time, she's coming on the show and sharing with us what's transpired over the past 4 years since she last came on. Part of which came in 2023 when she won the U.S. Open doubles championship with Gabby Dabrowski, fellow Canadian. No big deal. She also, most recently, won the WTA Finals Championship in Saudi Arabia, winning the largest doubles purse prize ever awarded in tennis history. Again, no big deal. Erin's a friend of the show, friend of mine. I am very grateful to have been able to spend 45 minutes chatting with her, learning about the ups, the downs, everything between since her time at Alabama and now traveling around the world, being able to represent her nation, that being New Zealand, as well as Canada, in the brightest lights possible. I hope you folks also are getting the required protein in that you get throughout your day, because it's an important, essential nutrient, actually, to make sure that you're performing your best. That's why we are partnered with Perfect Sports Supplements. They produce the best quality protein on the market, 27 grams of protein per scoop, that is. And one of my favorite flavors, Canadian maple. I'm bringing it out today because, we're featuring a Canadian on the show, Erin Routliffe. And I want to make sure you folks get the same deal that I get. That's saving 20% when you use the code AP20 at checkout. Friends, family, whoever's using it, let me know. Send me screenshots. I want to see what flavors you're consuming the most of, which ones you like the best, and how we can get more protein into your hands. So send me those screenshots. Hit me up on Instagram. Let's continue to power the Athletes Podcast listeners with Perfect Sports Diesel Protein. Without further ado, let's get to the 248th episode of the Athletes Podcast featuring Erin Routliffe. Here we go.
You are the most decorated racquetball player in U.S. history. World's strongest man. From childhood passion to professional athlete. 8-time Ironman champion. So what was it like making your debut in the NHL? What is your biggest piece of advice for the next generation of athletes? From underdogs to national champions. This is the Athletes Podcast, where high-performance individuals share their triumphs, defeats, and life lessons to educate, entertain, and inspire the next generation of athletes. Here we go.
This is what happens when you speak into existence what you're going to do. Because 4 years ago, do you remember what you said during the Athletes Podcast on episode 35?
No, you're going to have to tell me, and it's going to be scary.
You said in 2020, during COVID quarantine, that in the next 2 years, your goal is to be top 40 in doubles.
Oh, wow.
You made it to top 30 during that year. No big deal. Then proceeded to win a WTA championship, U.S. Open over the past couple of years. No big deal. Yeah. Erin Routliffe, welcome back to the Athletes Podcast. Second time on the show. Thanks for coming on. Excited to chat with you a bit about what you've done the past 4 years, bringing home tennis pride for Canada, New Zealand, everywhere in between. Hey, don't act too excited.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, at least this time, like we've talked about, the fact that there's a lot that's happened over the past 4 years. You're kind of a big deal in the tennis world now, being ranked number 1 overall. Not that you weren't when we had you on 4 years ago, but it was kind of like you talked about it. There's ebbs and flows in everyone's career. And during COVID, that might have been a bit of a ebb or a flow. Who knows?
Yeah, for everybody.
For everybody. Myself included. But hey, we're on the up and up now. You're back home in Montreal. You're done you're starting up your training again. Tell me what it's like fresh off the largest purse victory in Saudi for a doubles women's tennis championship.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think obviously you reminded me 4 years ago being on the podcast, and I mean, I'm glad that I had those goals for myself because that means that I was aiming high. Yeah, I'm really happy. Obviously, the win in Saudi Arabia with Gabby was, like, I guess probably top 2 of our careers together. And it was really, really exciting. We had a great time there. First time in Saudi, unbelievable experience. Even if we hadn't won, it would have been a really, really cool experience. We did love every minute. And yeah, we've just had like I've had a crazy whirlwind like year and a half. It's completely changed my life. So I'm excited to keep going and, start 2025.
Crazy what happens when you join Caledon Free Tennis for kids at 6 years old, hey?
Yeah. Oh my God. You probably asked me like how I started tennis and that was it. That's exactly right. Yeah. My parents were like probably sick of having 3 kids and were like, you guys need to go do something to give us a second to breathe. But yeah, it worked out.
I'd say it worked out all right. Imagine if they weren't sailing around the world, 30 years ago, some odd years,
I know. That
kinda
hippie
crazy.
shit. That's like such a good story. Like people love that story. I mean, I think it's so iconic from them. Like epic. Not a lot of people can say that that's why they were like born somewhere else or have dual citizenship and all that stuff.
It's legendary. It's like, this is incredible. Now you get to represent New Zealand. Who was it? There was someone on LinkedIn. I wrote it down here doing my research. We had James William de Mortimer posted on LinkedIn about how in 2024 it might have been the greatest year for women's sport in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because there was like a lot of medals at the Olympics, a lot of new Olympians that were women. Yeah. Did I watch? Yeah, I did. I watched the rugby sevens win the gold medal. That was cool.
Over Canada.
That was awesome.
Tough. I know.
I know. Sorry.
You inside you were hurting, but outside you were smiling.
I did think it was kind of funny, like both my countries playing each other for a gold.
Pretty That was cool. A win-win for you, hey?
Yeah, and also Canada's never been in the final, I think, right? That was history. They made history. Like that's cool. That's also cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was, honestly, Canadian athletics performed really well at this past Olympic Games. That was cool to see. And obviously New Zealand's on the up and up. You want to know why else that article was interesting? Because James mentioned Ashley Hueta. You know who she is?
No.
She's well, let me educate you, Erin.
Yeah, thanks.
She won the Oceania Championship for arm wrestling at the end of 2023. And she also bench pressed 317.5 kilograms, besting the world record by 22.7 kilograms. So like bench press, full suit, it's the equipped it's called. So it's like, not technically free weight bench pressing, but basically like 600, 700 pounds bench press, which is like 3 times what I can do, probably 4, which is not embarrassing at all for me. But she's also a Cook Stark management athlete, fun fact. So I had Ashley on the podcast probably 3, 4, 6, 7 months ago now. Tough to
cool.
count. And she's also a perfect sports athlete. So we're just adding people to the repertoire. Obviously she's crushing it, but is it the New Zealand protein? Is that what it is? Are you guys just crushing lamb down there, down under?
I have no idea. I'm not like I guess I do it because I have to because it's my job. But I guess it's like, a lot of the protein does come from New Zealand. So maybe that's it.
Right. I think it's between that New Zealand protein and you also enjoy your occasional McDonald's meal post-tournament victory, I've heard.
You have done your research, huh?
I try to. Especially when we have to do these virtually, it's not the same.
Yeah, I do. I do dabble in McDonald's every now and again. I go in every country that I go to, actually.
Podium ranking for McDonald's international?
I don't really have one. Malaysia was unreal.
Oh.
Thailand was unreal. I went in Saudi Arabia and it wasn't very good, which was disappointing. Damn, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another one that's like really good. Anywhere in Asia, they do McDonald's really well, to be honest.
Your pregame meal, I heard you and Gabby were talking about sushi as a pre-tourney snack.
Sushi's just like it's like a really popular meal at tennis tournaments. Like they just always have it. And it's like, I don't know, it's good like carbs, protein right before you play. It's not too big. So we're both kind of into it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, tennis is interesting. It's kind of that like slightly bougier sport where you got to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's why I'm wearing the collared shirt, Erin, just for you.
Okay? I really dressed up.
For you and the WTA. I know. I was like, this is filmed also. It's all good.
I'm repping Taylor Swift.
You're a Swiftie.
Yeah.
You're
100%.
also a fan of the Kardashians. You're a reality TV gal, hey?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
love. Like it's like my I'm not even gonna say guilty pleasure, just pleasure.
You kind of need to be able to have that unplug release when you're a high level athlete, hey?
Yeah, we like spend so much time on the road, like on planes, hotels, like at nighttime. Like you kind of have to have something to like turn your brain off completely, and like for me, that's literally it. So.
And you have to be able to turn your brain off when you're body checking people out of exit lanes of airplanes.
Oh my god, the pet peeve. That one's come to haunt me. But it's true though. Everyone's like airplane etiquette. It's terrible.
It's atrocious. You're
No,
like,
it's so bad.
you're all gonna get there at the same time.
That's what I'm like. And there's numbers. Like we count from 1 to 20 for a reason. I'm just like, what? Oh, anyway.
Some people struggle with that, Erin. You gotta remember.
Yeah. I
Common
try to
sense.
like,
Common sense.
shove my legs into the thing and be like, you're not going anywhere. So.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I am a professional tennis player, and I'm waiting my
No,
number.
it has nothing to do with that.
No, I do get that. That is also a pet peeve of mine. I also think that people in society nowadays just aren't necessarily as nice as they should be to one another, and maybe we can enact some change overall in society in that fashion by just having people look at one another and say, "Hey, go ahead, after
Right.
you."
That would be like an ideal situation.
Yeah. Why are we living in such a hypothetical world? Hey.
Yeah, it's like you can't control these people. It's tough.
Do you when you're heading back down to Florida tomorrow, Auckland in a couple weeks, how do you prepare for the season? Are you changing up your nutrition? Obviously, you have some fun times after you win. You take your family out to a nice dinner, treat them with that big purse winnings. But like during this downtime, as an athlete, you've got to also stay somewhat present with the fact that, hey, I just won a tournament. I want to continue on seeing success next year in 2025. How do you balance this next couple weeks?
Yeah, I think I try to enjoy the off time because we don't really have that much off time, but like obviously at the same time balancing it with like trying to prepare for 2025. Right now I'm dealing with a little injury, so I can't go as hard as I would like to. So that's kind of made me like take a step back and like start slower, but I don't change too much. I mean, going to Florida tomorrow, I have a friend down there. I'll hit with her a little bit, and then I'm going there because she has her baby shower, so that's exciting to do something social, and I haven't seen her in like over a year, so that's really fun. And then I'll probably train with my coach he's the head coach at Penn State now, so I'll go there again to train and go a little more intensely right before leaving.
Right.
But I try to enjoy it, but also work hard. It's because we're on the road so much. Like it's like a 10-month sport that it's like these 2 months you really want to not do too much and like burn yourself out before it starts. But also at the same time, it's the only time you can like really get like a good like fitness block or like a good block of tennis to like really improve. So finding that balance, I think every year I get a little bit better at it, but right now I have to take it pretty slow. So
yeah, like you bring up the social aspect, and it's like you don't really have time for a social life when you're traveling for 10 months on the year. And like I struggle with that as a nomad, and I am in more places more frequently than you are, so I can understand and relate to that. And even like we were talking before we started recording about how I'm going to be chatting with Monica Examet about this dating episode and all the fun that athletes have to deal with in that realm, and just in general now with post-COVID, people don't know how to communicate as well, I think, in general. But one of the things that we can hopefully enjoy is the fact that sport brings people together.
Mm-hmm.
And you are playing with Gabby. Obviously, you've played with Coco. You've played with a couple other partners while Gabby was injured. Obviously, you're dealing with injury. How do you manage that relationship between partners in the doubles world? Because that's an interesting one that you don't really get the backstory on.
Yeah, it depends on your ranking. It depends where you are at in your career. I'm lucky enough now that Gabby and we got together, I guess, last summer, and then played the rest of the year, and then committed for this year, and then did well this year. So now we're committed for next year as well. So by the time 2025, the end of 2025 rolls around, we'll have played together for like almost 2.5 years. So I'm at the position where it's kind of like a more stable partnership where you're like playing for, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, which is really nice. Because before, when I was on the grind, like hustling, I was playing with like a different partner every week almost. So it's like just completely different it's just completely different now than it was before. It's just different stages, I think, of the sport that happens. And it's not what you think. It's literally you just text people, you get to know people on tour, and you're just like, hey, do you want to play here? Like, what do you think about playing next year? Or like for the beginning of the year in Australia and blah, blah, blah. And we just, sometimes there's coaches that like come together. Like when Gabby was injured this year, I just like looked down the list at singles players, and Coco,
No shit.
we're friendly, so I was like, do you want to play? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. So stuff like that where it's just like one-offs, that happens a lot as well. So yeah, it's like just depends.
That's so cool. It's that's super similar to the volleyball and like ATPs and Immuno when we were down in LA. She was saying it is super informal. You just shoot someone a text, you're like, hey, you want to play? Like, I imagine some super formal process that required a ton of back and forth, but hey, whatever works, that's awesome. I love it. I'm kind of jealous that working with the government doesn't operate like that as well in my town.
They need to come up with like some sort of like app. That's what everyone's always talking about, like an app to show like who's looking, who's not, like blah blah.
It's like dating for your professional.
No, it literally is like dating though. Like I didn't want to say that, but like we're like out here all trying to like, and then there's like some shady shit going on. Like sometimes people are like trying to find another partner when they have a partner already. Like it gets feisty.
Talk about tea, hey?
No, yeah, there's tea for sure. Didn't you watch Breakpoint? No, they missed Breakpoint. Missed every single good thing about tennis. So
yeah. So I was curious because Sprint just came out. Aaron Kingsley Brown, who's been on the show, posted about he's like watching it as a Canadian fan, wearing his gold medal, and he's like they didn't talk at all about Canadians. It was like a pretty funny reel. I don't know if you've seen it. But yeah, like they won gold 4x100. No mention of it. Like, it's. So I was curious from your point, breaking point, give me more dirt. There's more there. Let's peel back the onion. You feel strongly.
Oh no, I don't think there's that much, but I do think. I mean, Breakpoint was. Did you watch it?
Parts. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's tough. They just I don't know.
I heard there was a lot of cut scenes that led to it actually like someone hitting a backhand, and then them cutting to another scene where it wasn't the same point. And
oh really?
So it was like
the tennis part of it was like part of it was like not even like real tennis. Like it wasn't. Yeah, and they only film like the big single stars. So there's like, and obviously some people could say no. Like some people could say yes and no, and so yeah, it was just interesting. I don't know. I like the other ones better. I watched the golf one. That one was good. F1,
there you go.
Cool.
You're a fan of athletes. That's why you're on the Athletes podcast.
Yeah, I love sports. You kidding?
They did do a good job. I think Netflix embracing sport is good. You're gonna be on that one when they do the next Breakpoint for sure. They're gonna incorporate doubles.
I think it was canceled.
Oh no.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I think it was canceled.
Oh, that didn't age well. That's unlucky. One of the things that you talked about when you were like on that last episode was also the fact that you probably would have burned out from that quote unquote grind that you mentioned a couple minutes ago when you're living a professional life, but you're not ranked as high and it's not as easy to get a partner. And you attributed, your years at Alabama with the Roll Tide to the fact that, hey, it gave you some time to continue playing tennis, get better, develop your skills, and then move into a pro role. I have so many athletes reaching out on this show that are like, oh, I want to become pro right away. When in reality, there's a lot of benefit to spending a couple years at an NCAA institution, winning a couple SEC championships for your institution for the first time. No big deal. Sending me pictures with 4 rings, flashing them up. Like, there's benefit to stuff like that. And I'd love for you to kind of like elaborate on that more now, having a couple more years experience as a pro, now seeing success. Maybe it took a little longer than you originally anticipated.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on where you're going to go. Obviously, I'm very grateful for my time at Alabama, and I loved most of my time there and wouldn't change it for the world. I think in tennis it's hard because sometimes your coaches are like so important in your development. And so if you're, not meshing with the coach that you have at college, which sometimes I think in women and men sometimes, they don't feel like they're the right fit for them, that I think that sometimes maybe your development goes downhill a little bit. So I think it just depends on, your situation. But I definitely think most athletes should probably go to college. I mean, with the scholarships and being able to leave early and all that stuff, then it does make it beneficial for sure. But yeah, no, I wouldn't change it for the world. Obviously I love Alabama. We're having a tough football season, but
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but
okay. We can cut that part.
Just a mid-break here during the Athletes Podcast to remind you, if you need to stay calm, use Can Wellness Fresh Supplement. Couple squirts, whether you're about to head out on the court, ice, or field, and it can make sure that you are staying refreshed and performing your best under any circumstances. Back to the show. I am still honestly trying to find some of that white Alabama barbecue sauce that you mentioned.
You haven't had it still?
No. Wait, I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Actually in Canada it's hard to find. But I've
been looking.
I was in State College this past weekend and they had it at a barbecue place, like in Pennsylvania. So it's not only in the South. It's literally just, I think, America. And yeah, you should just look up a recipe and make it. It's really easy.
I feel like we need to save it for whenever we get the third episode in person. Maybe we'll crush some white Alabama barbecue sauce. But we also should probably include the Routliffe sisters, eh? Because, I mean, kind of 3 all-around athletes. What were your parents giving you guys growing up? Were they athletes as well?
My dad was a sailor, and then my mom played like every sport imaginable. So yeah, they were both very into sports. I don't know what happened. I think when we were kids, we did every single sport just to keep busy and stay out of trouble. And then, a couple of them kind of stuck. But yeah, Tess is obviously winning 2 medals in Paris. Pretty iconic. That was her second and third medal, which is so epic. And then Tara, obviously volleyball in the States, it's nice to have sisters that you can talk to about, your job and sports and just relate to, because they're 2 of my best friends. So it's really easy.
How, were you guys always close growing up?
Yeah. I mean, we fought obviously classic sisters, but yeah, always very, very close forever.
Do you attribute what you learned growing up, family, sisters, to how you can work with doubles now? Because I think that's an interesting dynamic.
That is.
People don't. It's
Yeah.
an individual sport. You're playing it with someone. You've talked about you played better when you had 7 partners on your team at Alabama than you would individually.
I always, I think, did better in doubles because it was with somebody else. Even when I was good at very good at singles, I think I was always just a little better at doubles. Maybe it is because there was someone beside me, but also at the same time, it's really hard because tennis is so individual that we grow up our entire lives just worrying about ourselves, and then all of a sudden you have to worry about other people. So in doubles, I've learned so much. I think 4 years ago, the partner that I was nowhere near the partner that I am today. I think that's definitely one of the main things that I've learned, is to be a good partner depending on, who I'm playing with. And that's a massive dynamic because I always say you're trying to get the best out of your partner while simultaneously getting the best out of you, which is so hard because something that would get me going maybe would not be good for Gabby, for example. So you kind of have to navigate that. But I've learned to be a good communicator, and we have very good communication together. And I think that probably, communicating with 2 sisters growing up, that for sure helped. Just having those difficult conversations. Gabby and I would be nowhere without the tough conversations that we have to have with each other, just about everything. So yeah, it's definitely a huge part of it. And I would definitely think that, and it's weird too, because have 2 sisters and Gabby's an only child. So that's also very different. We're very different in the way that we communicate. So that's also something that we've talked about quite often. But yeah, definitely helps, I think.
What's changed over the past 4 years then, from the partner you were then to now?
Oh God, everything. I think it's just like life. Like you just learn like I don't know. I don't know. It's just as you get older, you learn stuff and you just realize like I sound like Kylie Jenner. You just realize things. No, but yeah, no, so much. I don't know.
I feel you. That's what I hear where you're coming from. I only ask because I'm curious if there's specific things that stand out to you.
I think in doubles specifically, like I played, I had like a full-time partner, Rozolska, for almost 2 years. I think we played together. So just like navigating that partnership. And then like when we ended that partnership, starting another one and then ending that one, it's just like, as you keep learning about these people and about yourself and then like having those conversations, you just learn every single time you're going to learn more. So
what's worse, a tennis breakup or a relationship breakup?
I think relationship. If I said tennis, there'd be something seriously wrong.
I don't know. I feel like within like your professional setting.
Yeah, it's like a business partnership. Yeah, no, I get that. No, that sucks totally. But also at the end of the day, it's like not personal where the other one is.
Yeah, fair enough. I had to ask.
Yeah, fair enough.
Are you a coffee or a tea gal, Erin?
Coffee. I don't drink tea. Well, I mean, I do, but like not really.
Really? You've never tried Athlete's Apothecary tea, that's why.
No,
Phoenix. She's like, what are you talking about? Phoenix Copley, goaltender for the LA Kings. He makes a hydrating tea, nourishing bedtime tea. I love it. It's one of my faves.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll get you some of that. I'll get you some Perfect Sports. I got homework. Perfect Sports protein and some Athlete's Apothecary tea, Erin. We'll hook you up. You know what else? Do you ever get nervous when you're on the court?
Oh my God, yeah, every day. Literally every single time I have a match. Before, during, all of it.
What do you do to stop that?
I don't stop it. I embrace it.
You just smile? It's like, oh, I'm nervous.
No, I just like, I don't know. It's all a process. I don't really think about winning or anything like that because it doesn't really help. Gabby and I are always just reminding ourselves that we got to do like what to do in order to like be the best versions of ourselves in the court. And yeah, definitely keep it light, like laugh and smile because that helps so much. It helps both of us play. So that's probably my role. Yeah.
I honestly appreciated that. Like there was clips watching you guys play and it's like Gabby like laughing before she serves or you guys like laughing in between. Like that's cool. A lot of athletes don't do that, especially, you know, when you get into the semifinals, finals, like that's high pressure situation. I struggle with staying calm. I started using this Can I Wellness Fresh. It's like, I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, I can.
It's like they do some spray supplements, so it's also for some sleep. I have a crazy nighttime routine now, Erin. It's wild. Since last time we chatted, I mouth tape.
Stop.
So I know.
Are you a bad sleeper?
No, but I love to optimize my sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you have an Aura ring? You have one of those?
No, I was gonna ask. I have a Whoop strap though.
Oh, okay. I used to have a Whoop. This one's better.
Is it? Why?
Oh, yeah. It's just more accurate. Like, I think it's more accurate. I like seeing my like resting heart rate when I'm sleeping. I know when I'm gonna get sick. Pretty upset.
What, Whoop doesn't tell you that?
Oh, I don't know. Whoop, like, I had the Whoop and it just like, because I wore it when I was practicing, it got so sweaty. It was like kind of gross.
It does kind of end up smelling.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter how many times you wash it. You can't like not get it to smell. This thing's easy. You just don't even need to do anything.
See, but I'm not a jewelry guy, Erin. What do I do?
Buck up.
Embrace it.
Just yeah, you just gotta buck up.
But does it not impact you when you're lifting at all? Like,
so you can get the plastic things. You know those like cover things that like help when you're lifting. No. First of all, I don't lift that heavy.
No?
Like, have you seen me? I literally have chicken arms. But
you're toned.
Thank you, but I'm not like math. I'm not like a big like. I'm not.
You're
like
not a bodybuilder.
No,
we've established that.
No, but you can get like the cover things. It doesn't really affect it. I mean, it doesn't for me any. But I'm like I have so much jewelry, so maybe it's just me.
Fair. What does your training look like?
It depends. There's like a lot of rehab, like little band stuff,
Okay.
you know.
Not going heavy with the weights though.
No, the only time like I'd really do that is like this next month.
Yeah.
And
The
then
off-season build.
yeah, and then if I have like a couple weeks in between tournaments, but like during the season it's just like maintaining. So it's like just a lot of like really long warm-ups and cool downs basically.
Did that change going, because I asked you this when you were at Alabama, and I think your workouts were a little bit crazier just as a team. Does that change now when you get to the professional level, 10-month season, traveling? Like,
yeah, at Alabama there was like a lot of, we had like Tuesday was like running day on the soccer field where like you'd be like throwing up, doing these sprints or whatever. Like, I'm gonna tell you what, I have not run in about 3 years. Like, that is not something, if I'm doing cardio, I'm not running. I'm doing it on the bike. I'm doing it like doing some like, I don't know, hit intervals. Like, running is not my thing. Also, I'm tall. I got to take care of my knees. Also, I'm almost 30. Like, there's no time to be like messing around with these like
side quests.
You know, like running intervals. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So
who goes and runs for fun?
lots of people. I salute them, but that is not me.
I recently started running. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you
a
know
lot
that.
of people do.
Yeah.
Have you got that runner's high yet?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, do you run far?
I did the Toronto Lakeshore Marathon.
Oh wow! So you're like really running. Okay, yeah. So you hit that high. I like tried. I thought it would be really cool and cute to do. Never happened.
No?
Couldn't do it.
How long did you run for?
Not. I mean, I guess not long enough. I don't really know. It's.
I feel like you could do it, and I have the same tall issue. Want to save the knees?
Right.
Not quite. You know, I'm nearing 30 as well, but you know, it's good for you within reason. You don't have to go run a marathon, but like, you know.
No. Maybe when I'm done with tennis though, but like I really do think like tennis players, especially doubles players, like for us, like we have to have like a different type of cardio, and like there's been like lots of physios that are just like, just don't run. Like there's really no reason.
Well, that's why I asked, because it is like, for tennis players, you don't need to have crazy endurance.
No.
You need a crazy endurance, but you don't need it in one direction for 4 hours without any agility.
Especially doubles.
Yeah.
Like it's even more different. So yeah, no, I will go on the book to say I'm not a runner.
But as soon as she retires New Balance, she'll be wearing your shoes. Don't you worry. She'll be flying out there.
Maybe when I retire, I'll like find the joy of running that people talk about. Who knows?
That's what Miriam Abdul-Rashid, Canadian Olympian CSM athlete, she's a hurdler right now, so she runs for like 10 seconds. But she's like, I'm gonna pick up running long distance afterwards. It's great, and honestly the running community is really cool. That's the other thing I do have to say, coming from like individual-ish sports, the running community, really cool.
I think it's like a thing actually now, like people like try to date in the running community.
Yeah,
like, it's like a dating thing. I've heard about this in New York.
Yeah, run clubs can definitely get what would be the correct way to describe, flirtatious, maybe, I guess.
Frisky.
Oh, there you go. Erin's attended. No, yeah, they're I think it's also just physical exercise. People are looking for like-minded individuals who are,
that does make sense.
You know, health oriented. Totally. That's tough to do nowadays. 10, 20 years ago, people would go to the bar and, you know, have a good time, but a lot of people aren't boozing frequently. I'd be curious, how do you partake in boozing frequently? Probably not as a professional athlete, right? Like,
no, I don't. Sometimes like at the end of like after a slam, we'll have like a night out. Like right now would be a time where like the last couple weeks I've definitely been like off and like drinking a little bit, but like no, not really.
But it's not like uni days where, you know, from Wednesday to Saturday is like,
no,
you know, so that's
like you're like on a bender. You're just like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah, and that's part of, you know, as we age and go through this life thing that we talked about, you know, you need to find things where people have other common interests, and sometimes that's running, sometimes that's tennis, sometimes that's sailing, which leads to having kids who are dual citizens, and then you produce world number ones. What's changed since that you've got that title? Because, you know, 4 years.
Well, now I'm number 2, actually. I did get to number 1, yes, I know, but like, let's not get it twisted. But nothing really changed. I don't really pay attention to the rankings, honestly, but I do, you know, it's a goal that I would have never really thought. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could have ever achieved. So it was like pretty cool. I mean, very proud of myself, obviously. So, yeah.
I think you're super humble, and you deserve a bit more of a pat on the back. It's honestly, it was emotional for me to look back, watch that episode, because, you know, it's 4+ years, episode 35, and I have mentioned the fact that I looked like a baby during it, but it was like there's a lot that's changed over those years, and you could see the determination in your eyes. But it's also, like you just said it there, you never thought it would be achievable. But a lot of the things that you said during that was like, hey, I can do amazing things. It's just maybe not at this moment. And it was also COVID, right? So
yeah, that is weird. I might have to go watch that.
You should. Honestly, it's crazy. It's a trip. It's a good trip.
Yeah,
though.
that is.
And I think that's the other cool part is, you know, having these kind of conversations is being able to look back and say, hey, fuck, 4 years ago, there was no way I ran a marathon, let alone a half marathon, let alone a 5K. Now, here we are doing these things, you know.
That is cool.
I am not world number 1 in anything, but maybe one day, 4 years from now, I'll be playing pickleball or doing some other random thing. But, you know, that's, I think, anyways, it means a lot to be able to chat with you again, bring you on the show, share your story. I know you had a process-oriented answer to this question when we had you on last time, which is why I say, you know, you've believed in yourself for a long time. Maybe you've just been humble about it. But since then, is there something that you would provide that next generation of athletes with as whether it's piece of information, motivation, insight, experience from what you've experienced, we'll say over this past year and a half that's been so instrumental for you? Anything you want to leave our audience with today?
Process. That's funny that my last one was so process, because that's my entire thing. It's our whole thing.
That's your shtick, eh?
Yeah. Oh, I think the thing that I have said once was like, I mean, in tennis at least, or in any sport really, I think that there's like a lot of personality traits that people have, and it could be looked at as like a negative for the sport or for their potential or for their ability to succeed. And I think that it's really important for people to embrace like who they are, and because anything can be used as a strength, and to like use those strengths in order to push you to be able to, you know, do whatever it is you set your mind to. I think that, you know, coaches and athletes, it's like this dynamic where, you know, if you find the people that believe in you, then you can really achieve anything you want. And so you should use, you know, embrace yourself and use everything you can, like I don't know, just use your personality in order to thrive. I think that that's something that, yeah, I'd say probably 4 years ago, I wasn't like super confident in myself and my ability to, you know, use the things that I have as strengths, and now I am. So, yeah.
Heck yeah. Yo,
you like that?
I love that answer. That was awesome.
Come on.
Yeah, that was great. I think of like Nick Kyrgios here as I throw my hat on backwards, and it's like I was talking with Jordan Challow, who trained him for a bit, and he was traveling around with him, and he's like, dude, I have some crazy stories from that guy. And it's like, there's a reason why he was able to flourish. He gained a ton of attention. It's because he was real. He was who he wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little brash, maybe a little out there on some things, but like, you got to do that. And if you're not being real to who you are, then what the heck are you doing, right?
Yeah. You're never gonna like be able to achieve what you can without doing that, which I think that I was like really didn't know for a long time. So
you were just uncovering it.
Yeah, of course, just learning and growing.
Yeah, that's what we're all doing. Hey, Thank you so much again, Erin. I appreciate your time. And hey, third time's the charm. We'll do it in person. We'll get some white Southern barbecue sauce. We'll slap it on some, what do you even eat it on? Ribs? Do you just eat it on normal meat?
Yeah, on anything like pulled pork, barbecue, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Fries.
Fries. Okay. All right. We'll have it. We'll make it happen. We'll have Southern barbecue, white barbecue sauce, perfect sports, and athlete's apothecary tea. Sounds like a well-rounded
Balanced.
Balance.
Yeah.
That's the way we'll leave it. Erin Routliffe, 247, 248. That's a wrap.
Oh,
That's the
wow,
pod.
awesome.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. Hey, thank you folks for tuning in. That was the 248th episode. Big shout out goes to Erin for coming on the pod again, for Erica for making the original introduction, and to all of you for listening this far in. A major shout out also goes to our producer, Ryan Lott, for putting out the best productions possible on a weekly basis. Thank you for tuning in. It means the world to me. I hope you folks enjoyed. Let me know your favorite part, if you have other athletes that you want to see on the show, and I can't wait to see you again next week for another new episode. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.